Killing Floor 3 shouldn't be released right now, and thankfully it isn't going to be. I mean, obviously, this isn't the final product, but if this was a sample course you would get at a restaurant, I would be afraid of the main entree. As a person who basically grew up playing Killing Floor 1 and 2 and being a faithful consumer of all things floors, yeah, this isn't a step in the right direction. This is all supported by the fact that Tripwire Interactive themselves have said that the game just isn't ready, making its release undisclosed in the unforeseeable future. Now, if you love the game, this is actually a big win. Recall all those times where games in beta needed more time to cook, Baldur's Gate 3 being the most prominent of titles that involved a beta. After consumer feedback, it became a titan in the games industry, spelling the end for sham game producers. So, why was Killing Floor 3 a failure? Let's get into it. To start, I would say it was more of a success than a failure. Tripwire learned some invaluable things after releasing the beta to a small portion of gameologists. Before we get into all of the negative quirks, let's discuss what I personally thought was good. I actually liked the gadgets each character had.
Come on, let's get it.
Boombox deployed.
Look at them big old
Boombox. They didn't care about the boombox.
They didn't care.
Oh,
they didn't like the tunes. They didn't like them.
Well, most of them anyway. And the extra tools you can purchase like the multi-tool, floor shockers, and door bombs are actually quite nice and play into every map. There are some nice guns in beta to play with, although few, and the attachments are somewhat interesting in their dynamic to change gunplay. There's also no weight system, so you can always purchase a primary and a secondary gun of your choosing. I genuinely enjoyed playing through each character's perk tree, but it could definitely use more refinement instead of feeling like generic upgrades on some perks. There are a slew of different damage types now, more so than the usual bullet, slashing, piercing, and exploding damage you would normally find in the previous titles. The music is fine, and the maps are definitely fun to navigate through as you cut through hordes of enemies. There are a handful of bosses, but I won't say much because...
Oh, yeah. No, fuck me.
Although he did spawn right in front of the little pustule on the ground.
I know.
The game has a lot more verticality and levels change as you run around unlocking things with a multi-tool. The movement compensates for this by allowing you to ledge grab and slide out of harm's way. It definitely feels a lot faster. Oh, and knife speed is back.
Nice.
Another nice thing is you don't instantly die when you drop to 0 now. Instead, you bleed out and can be picked up by a teammate, preventing those frustrating one-shots and countless times of losing expensive guns. And that's where the buck stops. I had problems with just about everything else. The bosses outside of the shark with a box cutter head have teleport one-shot attacks as you phase them. Not very fun, and often this feels cheap in comparison to Killing Floor 1 and 2 bosses.
Oh my god, fucker. Oh, I thought he was gonna stand up menacingly again. Body block you, but it won't fucking do anything. Okay, fellas. Hey, fellas, this is the worst boss matchup for me. Fellas.
Most of the guns feel weak, not very impactful, and not satisfying. This is partly due to the incentivization and attachment upgrades which they are clearly pushing for. Making attachments mandatory is definitely not the way to go as it devolves from actual player skill into a grind fest. My main issue is affording the upgrades because you need to have in-game currency to purchase them. But imagine you add 50 guns down the road and it becomes an exhausting logistical nightmare. Honestly, there's not enough blood in Killing Floor 3. It doesn't feel as gritty and doesn't contain the atmosphere the previous games had.
You need to upgrade your stuff. Your grenade's pretty fucking good.
It's the frag.
That looked like a pretty massive frag. And you got a giant
It's like a
bubble
frag
shield?
that became a bouncing Betty, kind of.
Who's talking shit? Look at
I
that.
said, look at the guy on my back, say something to him, talk shit, watch what happens to you.
He looks like he does not eat ass.
Oh my god, they survive a full hit.
Yeah, my guy, they survived a fucking shotgun blast with the pyro shotgun, which is the best shotgun in the game against them. That's not like
The formula is still there, and it still plays decently well, but it needs the old coding of Killing Floor that made it so unique. Dark, drab environments filled with satisfyingly realistic guns and clever, aggressive AI mixed with loud noises. Now it feels akin to modern-day Call of Duty zombies. In Killing Floor 3, you also don't hear flesh pounds arrive until they're just there. Scrakes are extremely tanky and annoying now with a hook, but I don't mind the hook part. I just mind the fact that it's pretty difficult to avoid unless you're already behind cover. It often feels frustrating when a Scrake doesn't flinch as you unload countless shotgun shells into its head. Scrakes don't have a whole lot of counterplay and it feels cheap, but at least you don't die instantly. A big issue is the limited syringes. I think it's an interesting design choice, but it basically means you have to have a medic to function on higher difficulties if you're playing with more people. Since there's so many Zeds that chip away at your health and guaranteed one-shot mechanics from bosses, you have to have a medic or a million syringe bags to help survive. The bosses genuinely feel cheap to fight once you hit their second stage, since there's no avoiding certain damage. Another issue I had was the UI. Don't get me started on it, it's absolutely terrible. Most of the time it bugs out, not updating properly, and it is reminiscent of a horror game shooter. Sometimes I can't fire my gun because I have negative ammo constantly. People complain about classes being locked behind a character, but I honestly don't mind too much. But I do understand the sentiment that it would be nice if you could just play whoever and play your choice of class. Most of the class weapons kind of suck with a handful of decent options, but there is one class that stands out among the rest that preserves its roots and identity, namely the best class of the beta, Sharpshooter. The rifles feel amazing, and freezing enemies with a sniper rifle just feels right. Every other class, however, feels either underwhelming, boring, or quite frankly, pointless.
I'm using a shotgun that it shoots tickle bullets, like I don't know what to tell you. If I can pull up the
Tell me
boom
you're
box,
gonna
I
kill
can
this
help
goddamn Scrake!
The classes need better guns and more power behind them, as their identity isn't completely there just yet. I feel like Sharpshooter doesn't feel so bad because its wings don't feel clipped in terms of strength, whereas the support specialist feels neutered to actual hell.
Alright, it's being deployed.
It's being chilling time. Flesh pound, by the way.
A big part of Killing Floor in general were the abilities. Commando could mow down Zeds and extend Zed time. Support could blast through hordes of Zeds with penetration and shoot down Scrakes and Flesh Pounds. And Demo? Where's Demo? Regardless, I felt that each class needs a bit more oomph, like passive damage or unique things that only they can do. It's the sense of identity that helped define each class and their usefulness expanded upon that. Finally, the bugs. The beta is absolutely riddled with bugs. Go figure. UI bugs, Zed bugs.
Why is he standing there?
I don't know, shoot him.
Why is he standing there?
He's just
Menacingly.
standing there, menacing.
Class bugs, and even terrain bugs where you get stuck occasionally.
What happened?
I'm
Someone could
currently stuck.
benefit from a good cleaning service.
I'm coming to you, okay?
I'm trying to be optimistic about the game. I was trying to change my mindset. What the fuck?
Oh, well, you know.
John,
just dying.
help.
Jello.
God, this is the 4th time this week. Like, get out of here.
There's a bug where your bullet count doesn't update properly, so you can't even shoot until you swap guns around. There's definitely a lot of jank that did not go unnoticed, and it feels like it's half-baked at times. The amount of bugs Killing Floor 3 has makes the game almost unplayable currently, but that's just my experience. But I will excuse this beta as it is, well, a beta. Tripwire expected problems to inhabit its current client, but I don't think they expected this outcome. It's all subject to change, fortunately, but it indubitably paints a grim picture for the future to come. Will it all be resolved by release? Who knows? All I know is that hopefully Tripwire gets all the feedback they need to fix it in time, and perhaps they open a second beta. All in all, Killing Floor 3 will remind you that maybe Killing Floor 2 is actually pretty good. It plays like Killing Floor 1, but it just isn't the same anymore. Gone are the dark, drab areas of brutality and destruction, and now replaced with a sleek, clean look to it without the permanent coating of viscera and blood. I miss the quirky, fun playgrounds the previous Killing Floors had, like Volter Manor and Burning Paris and West London. The game significantly lacks polish and attention to detail. It's an experience that could benefit heavily from taking a step back and taking a page from its predecessors. But the most important thing that I feel that Tripwire Interactive left behind was heart. Killing Floor 3 simply lacks charm. Instead it tries to be what it isn't. I really want this game to rock so hard, but it's roughly 60% of the way there. It's hard to say if it will all be fixed in the future, but the good news is it still plays as a decent co-op shooter if you put a bag over its head. But that just isn't good enough. We've come to expect so much more from Tripwire, the same studio behind Rising Storm Vietnam, Dwarves, and Killing Floor. Unfortunately, this isn't Killing Floor 3. This is Alive Ceiling the Third. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Sorry I haven't posted in a while, but I've been very busy lately. If you want to continue supporting me, however, feel free to donate and hang out while I stream on Twitch. As always, see you around.